Live from DL's studio/office, it's the third annual Evil's Evil Spotify Awards. That's right, we're next in the preseason. Hi everybody, I'm DL with the loveliest podcast on earth, the loveliest one that you want to listen to. It's Verse Course Verse. Hi, I'm by myself. I haven't done a by myself one for a while. Forgive me if it's not perfect, but there's a little going on in the background too. So, hey, sorry about that. Trying a few new things. So I use, man, I am a mess. I've got stains on my shirt. I don't care. It's my first day of vacation after a long couple weeks. Any of you that do any sort of end of year company management that includes sales and trying to end of month and configure sales targets for the P&L next year, blah, 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 but who gives a fuck? It's just really exhausting. But first day of vacation until we get into January. So I'm going to enjoy the next, little work here and there, but really I'm just going to sit on my couch and drink eggnog for the next 12 days. That's pretty much it. I'm trying to reverse the vacation thing. I'm trying to do the opposite of that actually this time. And I think it's going to work. I was highly motivated today. That's one day down so far. I'm trying to get back into the health of things. Last year, I let the job and the kids and the this and that just completely take over. Not that I'm using it as an excuse. You have full capability of being able to do all that stuff and still remain somewhat healthy. It's just way harder. I'm just not that man. I've just proven to not be that man most times in my life. But gonna be getting up at 5 every morning, gonna be going for a nice jog, gonna hang out with the dog, going to get up in the morning instead of scrolling on my phone. I'm gonna read. Started White Fang this morning, which is one of my favorite books. I know. Where are you at as far as rereading books? Is it a massive offense that you would read? There are a billion amazing books out there, and the audacity to go back and read the same thing 7 times. I get that. That's not great. But hey, when I need some Jack London, some T.S. Eliot, so when I'm feeling my, Kerouacishness, need the call of the wild sort of thing, I feel it. And it's the cold weather this morning. I had the fire going. It was perfect. Little coffee, little fire, made some eggs. Bob's your uncle. So yeah, I'm trying to do the health thing. Mental and physical. I'm trying to get up really early. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to not be on the screen in the morning. I'm going to try to get a couple projects done around the house, get my body moving, do some stuff with the kids every single day, have a specific thing I want to do with them. And then I think 7 p.m. every single night, you'll find me on the couch with a couple drinks, 2 cocktails, we'll say. It'd be 2 cocktail nights, listening to some vinyl. Maybe Christmas, maybe not. You've heard us talk about it a little bit on the pod. I am completely pro-Christmas now. I like to think that it's because I've gotten older, and as you get older, you really appreciate the little parts of, hanging out with your kids and the quiet cold. It's really just because I'm not working. This is the only time in my job where there's nothing that can be done. Every other vacation through the year, you all go through this too. It's not a real vacation. It's a faycation. It's K-faycation. K-faycation. I will, every single time I will end up, my boss will end up, some huge thing will happen. Or the last time my boss was, hey, by the way, I'm halfway in my McCall Lake vacation, right? Halfway through. And my boss sends me this nice email. Hey, by the way, no big deal. Don't worry about it. You're on vacation. You are going to have to fire 3 people when you get back. Oh, no. Okay. Super easy peasy. Just stuff like that. I don't get that at this time of year. Nobody does. Everybody's gone. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing left to hit numbers wise. There's nothing left to figure out that you're going to have to do in January. We're just sitting here enjoying life. I have got my 2025 Spotify best songs I most listened to this year on. I will start with this one right away. The Bones of Birds by Soundgarden is way up there for me this year. I was never a later years Soundgarden guy, but when Johnny Vinyl, who came on the pod a couple years ago, we did Super Unknown. We must have done Super Unknown. Yes, we did, because we had done the interview, all that good stuff. Anyway, it was a great episode. We did talk a little bit about Soundgarden's later year stuff. We talked about Bones of Birds. Actually, did we just do a full Soundgarden dissection with him? I don't remember, but it was a good episode. Bones of Birds is amazing. And it hit me a little bit when we were studying, but it's the one song that has kept coming back to me. I love the story behind it. I love everything. So maybe I'll throw in a little bit of those here and there as we go with this episode. Why are we here, though? We are here to talk about the evilest of all the companies. Maybe not evilest. One of the, top 10, maybe? If you are a music lover, it catapults it way up there, because they have done the perfect job that you are supposed. They have done the perfect vertical integration of how you make yourself not live without Tabol. Spotify is the perfect musical medium, right? Any song that you ever want to listen to, you have at your fingertips immediately. It's everything that I ever wanted growing up. Everything. That's all that I would dream of having that. And now I have it, and I see where it kind of ruins things. We've talked about it a lot on the podcast. It's maybe not good to have everything right at your fingertips right away. It just takes it takes it away. It's Thanksgiving sides, green bean casserole, stuffing, mashed potatoes. Maybe not mashed potatoes. I could have those every night. But stuff like that is good because I have it once a year, maybe twice. If I had green bean casserole once a week, it's not going to be green bean casserole anymore. I'm not going to give a shit about it. That's kind of how I feel about some of this stuff. How I've learned that I start to feel about Spotify. So maybe I shouldn't be able to just want to listen to. It's 2:30 on a Tuesday. I'm at work. I'm like, man, I want to hear Them Bones right now. Oh, pop Them Bones. No, you need the want, right? You need the chase. Hey, we're mammals. We don't want you to give the thing to us immediately right away. Thank you very much. That makes us lose interest. Ladies, I'm just kidding. That's what we're doing today. The Spotify's Evil Awards. The reason that I call it that is because Evil was the one that came up with the idea of, instead of what we used to do is we used to get together and we used to talk about our Spotify Wrapped. For those of you that don't listen or have Spotify, which I've ran into more and more people, and God, you're like mythical heroes. I love you all so much. Spotify at the end of the year does this thing called Wrapped, where they give you a 50 song playlist of everything that you listen to the most this year. This year, they actually put how many times you listen to stuff. And they go through a whole thing of, these are your top 5 bands. These are your top 5 songs. This is the typical year that the music you listen to comes from, your genres, all that sort of stuff. It's a little weird, but this was the first, it's funny. People say that they don't trust it. They don't believe it. It all made sense to me going through all this stuff. Anyway, the second year that we did it, Evil had this idea of like, let's just do awards. We do a lot of awards and categories when we're talking in the podcast, when we're doing albums. Do it for Spotify. It makes them more interesting. Because just going through I listen to a lot of blap. It's okay. You may also notice that I'm the only person here tonight. What I have found is that Evil and Rachel doesn't like doing the pod anymore, period. She does, just not often. Evil and Rachel hated the preseason episodes. I don't know what it was. I think part of it is just they don't like doing this because it's fucking weird. It really is. None of us are influencers. None of us are good at this sort of thing. And I can't make them do it anymore. I'm trying to not give a shit anymore. And if somebody says, "Oh God, this is miserable," then I say, "You know what? Don't do it anymore." I'm a very nice guy. So I'm doing it on my own. Well, I have Rachel's wrapped, I have Evil's wrapped, and I have my wrapped in front of me. I'm going to go through them. But first, the most important part of the night. What are we drinking? Like I said, first day of vacation, I am lazy as hell as far as the drinks are concerned. I have not gotten into look, do I have a jar of perfect eggnog sitting in the fridge waiting to cultivate until I have it tonight and it's perfection? Yes. I'm actually recording an episode tomorrow with Evil for the preseason. So I'm doing one thing in the preseason with Evil. And I'm going to be drinking the eggnog there. I'll let you know everything about it. I've only been an eggnog guy for 2 years now. I am not sure that a recipe is going to get any better than the eggnog I made this year. It is unreal and not at all what you'd expect. But before then, I am lazy motherfucker, man. I am drinking gin and soda. You know me, I'm a big gin guy, especially around the holidays. You get the herbs, you get this is a little bit of botanist and grapefruit soda water. It's amazing. It's amazing. You also see me drinking my coffee. This is coffee. What they do is they take these beans, and I also have water, hydrating. I'm trying to be healthy. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You got a big fucking glass of gin there. Hey, health is not just physical. Health is mental, too. I feel better after a drink. And what's more healthy than that? We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and I'm going to talk about Spotify Wrapped. Evil's Eat. We'll be right back. Nine Inch Nails. Little capital G with a capital G. Wow, wow. God, I love them. Did you know that? Did you know that I love Nine Inch Nails? Actually, could the timing be any better? Who is that? I think I'm doing Seinfeld as the fucker from Friends. Who's hot tub guy? Matthew Perry. Did you guys ever see the movie where he was a dentist and Bruce Willis was a hitman that moved in next to him? That movie is fucking hilarious. God, that movie was funny. It was in the 90s. Go watch it. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Something about Friends. It's a really terrible show. No, Nine Inch Nails. That makes sense. I see how I did that. I don't see how I did that. So should I talk about my Wrapped first? Sure. Why not? In fact, I'm not seeing it in front of me, which means I think that I don't. I'll tell you my number one right away. I know who my number one was. My number one was Nine Inch Nails. Is everybody taken aback by such nonsense? No, we knew this, right? My number one artist was Nine Inch Nails. I'll tell you kind of what I went through this year with Nine Inch Nails. We started the year with the Nine Inch Nails dissection. I had found through the podcast here, let's go back even farther, shall we? I have loved Nine Inch Nails since the first time I heard them. We talked about it in the dissection, but I was not one of the kids in high school I wasn't a Nine Inch Nails shirt guy or anything like that. If the Nine Inch Nails shirt kids were fucking weird, or so we thought. Turns out they were really fucking onto something. I've always loved them, but they've always been that band. It's kind of like all those kids that wore corn shirts and stuff. Like it's not my thing, right? It's not my thing. And then we dissect them, and then I get into them, and I realize, wait, I love this album. I've loved this album for 15 years. I've loved this album since I heard it. Oh, yeah, their 2012 album was amazing. Wait, the album that came out was 6 years ago was fantastic. I realized that I love Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. Like, not just love, but like, anybody that's watching on the three people that watch on YouTube will see that my new art behind me, Mr. Reznor, is one of them, because I realized last year, oh, he's definitely a top 5 artist of all time for me. It's only going to get better with the scores that he did. You saw in the end of the year, one of my top 5 albums was the Tron score. It's amazing. We will eventually talk about the Social Network score. That is a top 5 score for me. It's fucking incredible. Nine Inch Nails was my number 1. Nobody's surprised by that, right? The Slip is probably my favorite album, and that might be my new number 1 grail. They really need to reissue The Slip. That album is fucking insane. So Nine Inch Nails was my number 1. My number 2 is the metal band Sabaton. Now, first off, I don't need to excuse myself from anything. I can proudly be a Sabaton enjoyer. Two things. I made a conscious effort not to listen to Spotify this year as much as I could. The only time that I would jack it on is jack it on. Ugh. So like a 4th of July when I have my, 6-hour playlist that I'm just going to blast because America, and so that, yes, those days we're going to play some Spotify. But I tried really hard to focus on other venues and vinyl. I listen to vinyl more this year. I used to be a weekend vinyl guy. Now I'm an all week vinyl guy. I'm very proud of me for that. Anyway, point being, there was a decent part of the year where I was trying to be motivated, work out, stay healthy. It didn't end up well, but Sabaton was my workout band. Sabaton was my mow the lawn band. Sabaton was my I gotta lift heavy shit band. And it's great fucking stuff. Historical metal is fun as shit. Looking through the eyes of a fucking Templar. It's cheesy and insane, but it's also awesome. I'm proud of it. Anyway, Sabaton ended up being my number 2 artist. That's insane, but it is what it is. And number 3, because apparently I am a cheese metal guy, was Ghost. I listened to a ton of Ghost. I will tell you what it was. In my summer vacation, I went to McCall, Idaho, it's an ugly town that you don't want to have anything to do with. Please don't go. Basically a ghost town, and it's only getting worse. We would cruise along McCall in the woods, and my son loved that new Ghost album. Loved it. So I took my top off, not my shirt, my car, my Ford Bronco, and we'd sing along to Ghost. My 1-year-old son would sing along to Ghost. It was amazing. It was super fun. I think that the album they came out with this year is their best album. I do. I've thought about it I've had about a year to think about it. I think it's their best one. Their albums are 7 to 8 out of 10s. That one is a strong 8. That's what I'd say. Number 4 is the Beatles. So no shock there. We covered on the podcast last year, Revolver. If you didn't listen to that, Rachel and I did it. Go check it out. It was a really fun episode, just basically talking about them taking acid. But that's also one of my favorite albums of all time. So I used it as an excuse to I just listened to Revolver I revolved revolving for like a week straight. It was awesome. And I also listened to a lot of Beatles. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Beatles are a really good band. And they kind of fit in most situations. You can really listen to them a lot. Also, the other people in my household are huge Beatle fans. It's one of those bands that if we can't agree on anything to listen to, I'll just pop on, I'll pop on Meet the Beatles and everybody will be like, okay, all right, we're good with this. And then number 5, again, no shockers, was the Viagra Boys. My album of the year last year, Viagra Boys. And their album before, amazing. I've been kind of getting into their older EP shit. My Uncle Dan loves the Viagra Boys. He's kind of my musical role model. He always has been one of them. I have very good musical role models in my life. I did growing up. That's why I'm so brilliant when it comes to music. He loves old EP Viagra Boys stuff, and it's good. It's really good. Go check it out. So that was my 5 on the Wrapped. My songs, do we care about my songs? Actually, okay. Every single one of them is a Sabaton song. I'm telling you. So Templars, The Last Stand, Soldier of Heaven, and To Hell and Back. My number 1. Now, last week we did a reaction video. Evil and I did the new Avett Brothers Patent project. You listen to that. That's the one that Evil and I are actually recording tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. I haven't heard it. I've heard talks that it is basically an Avett Brothers album with Mike Patton on it. I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. We're going to find out. I'll let you know more about. I let you know more about that last week. Time continuum. But it's funny because when I first decided that we wanted to do that, I had no idea. I was kind of like, I don't really listen to many Avett Brothers. I don't listen to them that much. They're my number 1 song on last year. Their song Another Is Waiting is an amazing song. I don't know how it happened. I don't know, maybe this summer I got it on a loop, or it says I listened to it like 47 times. Maybe I got drunk and passed out while I had it on repeat. That's always a possibility. But yeah, Avett Brothers was my number 1. That's kind of crazy, right? Let's do some awards for my own stuff. Shall we? Let's do the wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Award. Is there anything that surprised me on my playlist? That is what surprised me. My number 1 being the Avett Brothers is crazy and so unbelievably coincidental that then all of a sudden we're doing the Mike Patton project. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't Mike Patton, we probably wouldn't even have touched it. But hey, that's still cool. Really high up on my playlist, the new Muse song, Unraveling. I forgot that it even existed. But at some point this year, I loved it because I listened to it a ton. I don't know if any of you have heard that. I think we've talked about Muse before on this podcast, and it's hard. It's almost like you're covering 2 completely different bands with their earlier stuff and their newer stuff. I want to be an early Muse guy, and I am right in thinking that their earlier albums are far superior to their later albums. Origin of Symmetry and Absolution are fucking 9 to 10 out of 10 albums. They're fucking amazing. And Supermassive Black Hole, is that the name of the album? The one with that, the one that they're sitting like on Mars at a table or something like that. What is the Simulation Theory? I really didn't like for a long time, but then I popped it on a couple times on a Friday night with my family, and my daughter and I were getting fucking down to it. Like it's good. So I think that later years Muse is kind of something that I wish I didn't love, but I kind of do. It's worse music than their old stuff for sure, but I'm kind of into it. I fucking dig it. Anyway, they still have these flashes of fucking, what's the song? Is it Drones or Reapers? It's Reapers on one of their later albums. That's not a great album, but Reapers is one of the best fucking rock songs of the last 20 years. It rips. And the guitar solo is top 10 guitar solo of the last 10 years. Anyway, then they came out with Unraveling. Unraveling's heavy. Unraveling's got some chunk to it. I know they've been saying they've gone back to kind of their metal roots influences a little bit. It's heavy. It's a cool fucking song. Anyway, I like it. The only other thing that I was surprised by, I shouldn't be, and this is like a humble brag or something, or like, what is it when it sounds like a brag, but you're kind of ashamed of it a little bit. I study too much for the podcast a lot of times. We did an album exchange, Evil and I. We did a couple last year, and he gave me a Torch album. That whole Torch album is just all over the top of my playlist. It's all over. And it's not, that album's great. I'm sure that I kept listening to it afterwards because it's a great album. I think Evil was saying that it was his favorite vinyl find this year. Don't tell him I'm telling you this, but he spent way too much money on that. It's okay. He's a vinyl noob. I feel like, do we all have those albums that we spent too much on? Should I be buying this for $125? No. Just this year, Them Crooked Vultures was in my fucking local record store. Well, I'm not going to buy Them Crooked Vultures. Are you fucking kidding me? That was a grail. If anybody asks, I didn't spend that much money on it. Ooh. But anyway, that whole album was all over it. And I think that will make Evil very happy. That album was great. And there were a couple songs that were phenomenal. He gave me some good stuff this year. That Muzak song. Anyway, I'm digressing. The Paparazzi Award. Is there anything high up that I'm ashamed for? The name of this award, of course, coming from the fact that Lady Gaga is one of my least favorite artists of all time. That Paparazzi song fucking slaps, though. I'm not gonna lie about it. I don't think Evil Rachel or I are really ashamed of anything. I think we're past that. I mean, if Rachel's not ashamed of her playlist, and I'm proud of how not ashamed she is. I have Goodbye Angel by the Red Hot Chili Peppers randomly up there, and there's something that is there's something embarrassing about admitting that you like later years Chili Peppers. If you are our age, old Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic, or older, or maybe, no, that's pretty much it. Those are the ones you're supposed to like. You're supposed to like punk Red Hot Chili Peppers, not Cali Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's a lot of those later years Chili Pepper songs that are fucking good. I think we all kind of know that, but maybe there's also a little bit of, Anthony Kiedis has turned out to be a guy. I don't know. Should I be embarrassed of that? Of Goodbye Angel by Chili Peppers being on my playlist? It's a great song. You let me know. What should I be? Does that song suck? You let me know. It's fine. It won't hurt my feelings. We know how this goes. I already talked about the Sabaton thing. It's not embarrassing. It's just a unique look into how Spotify Wrapped doesn't really measure who you are musically. You know what I mean? If you were to say, define DL's musical taste, Sabaton's not going to be on there. And yet, there it is. I'm not ashamed of it. It's a bit embarrassing. Sabaton being 4 of my top 5 songs, yes, that's embarrassing. I will hand up. That is embarrassing. And then the only other thing I just talked about, it's very pod heavy. It's more proof that once, with the exception of our little hiatus, thanks a lot, Evil and Rachel. Maybe that'll be my new thanks a lot, Obama. Which, by the way, is a fucking joke, right? That's what makes it funny, is the fact that Obama was the president 20 years ago, and then you say thanks a lot, Obama, like it's his fault. I had somebody get mad at me for saying that very recently. That's why I'm just fucking people. I study for the pod a lot. We're starting. I'm not going to say it because I don't know if we're going to say it in the preseason or not, but we're starting season 6 with a specific band, and I have been listening to them religiously already. So like for the last 3 weeks, they're probably going to be, if our Wrapped stopped on the last day of December, this band would now probably be like top 3 because it's all I've listened to. So maybe that's a problem. Maybe not. I like using it as the excuse that I should. The Megaphone Award. What one of these songs on my playlist would I like to tell the fucking world about? We have talked about them a little bit on the pod. We haven't covered them. They'd be kind of a hard band to cover. But Death from Above 1979 fucking slays. Out of those two-man bands, those bass drum bands, they might be the coolest. They might be if Royal Blood is my favorite, Death from Above might be the one that I'm like, it's kind of, how would I compare it? Okay, Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age. Queens of the Stone Age is the cooler, more unique, musically neater band, and yet most people are going to pick Foo Fighters over them every time, which they shouldn't. That's kind of like my Royal Blood and Death from Above. The song Turn It Out is very high on my playlist this year. The song Death from Above. No. The song Turn It Out by Death from Above 1979. Go listen to that. That song is phenomenal. In fact, I just remembered why I went back to that this year. It was on an episode of Shoresy. God, if you haven't watched Shoresy, you got to watch Shoresy. Not only is it one of the best shows ever created, the fucking soundtrack, the songs, and the way they incorporate music into that, it's supposed to be this stupid, idiotic man comedy, and it is not. There are layers and layers to that fucking show, and the music is a huge part of that. Turn It Out. That song's fucking amazing. This is why I hate the podcast. That's an award. That's not me saying that. The song that would never be on your list if it wasn't for the pod. I will say this. Now that Rachel has essentially stopped being on the pod, with the exception of the 10 out of 10s, which I give, there is not a single song that I don't like. Not a single one. I'll go from the beginning. There's a ton of Torch stuff on there that would not be there if it wasn't for the pod. And I spent too much time maybe listening to Torch. I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't think it's a thing. I don't have a good answer to this. I wish I did. That's it for me. That's all I got on my Spotify Wrapped. I think we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back and I'm going to talk about Evil and Rachel stuff. Okay. Goodbye. Everybody, we're back. How you doing? You having fun? I'm having a good time. How about the art behind me? The art's getting better, right? It's getting bigger and it's getting better. Right above my head, we've got Fiona Apple and Tupac, proving once and for all that, yes, I am a child of the 90s. I've got the two artists that I have added this year. Trent Reznor, I already talked about why. I realized that he's kind of one of my golden gods last year, so I had to put him on there. And then Janice. Janice is one of those that's always been not just a favorite, my favorite female vocalist. She always has been. And she needed to be up there. She's sitting there right next to Billie Holiday, and that's just a beautiful thing. Except for, I'm just now realizing Billie Holiday is crooked. How embarrassing was that? Poor Billie. Above Billie's head, Carter Beauford, the man, the myth, the drummer. We've got Ian Curtis, Beck. And then we've got the beautiful David Bowie paintings that my cousin painted for me. If you ever want anything from her, she did a canvas of Lane Staley for me too. I have more art over here that you can't see. I've got Lane Staley. I've got a painting of Lane Staley. I've got my favorite art in between, which is I've got my big Black Delta poster, and then above it I've got the painting that Angie did, mine, that she did of the whole verse chorus verse crew, which is, God, I love it. Maybe I'll put a thing on here. I probably won't. I'm not going to edit the video, sorry, but I still love it. Yeah, it makes me happy. Makes me happy. And then the vinyl behind me, for those listening that can't see, let's see, I've got a little To Pimp a Butterfly. I got a little Kendrick on there. And then the other shoulder is Silverchair's Frog Stomp. I have gotten asked this before. Yes, there is rhyme and reason around the vinyl that I put behind me for each episode. Usually it has to do with the episode, but sometimes not always. And I'm never going to tell you guys what it is. I want you to struggle with that. Let's talk about Rachel and Evil's Spotify Wrapped. Shall we? We shall. Rachel, the only thing that is surprising about Rachel must do a good job studying for the pod. I'll say that because two of her top artists are Nine Inch Nails and the Beatles. Those are two of the ones that she was a part of this year. The big one she was a part of is the dissection of Nine Inch Nails and then Beatles Revolver. So very happy that she listened to a lot of that. And then the other three are Taylor Swift, Lisa, and Blackpink. Lisa being from Blackpink. So she's got Taylor Swift and Blackpink. I have her playlist. If they did percentages of Spotify Wrapped, it would be 89% Taylor Swift and Blackpink, 94% Taylor Swift and Blackpink, and then other would be in there. And then podcast would be in there. That'd be basically what it is. Evil, it's metal. Although there is something about Evils this year. We're going to get there. There is something about Evils this year. The Wait What Award. The Wait What? Wait what? The Wait What Award. Anything that surprised me on their playlists. Well, I just talked about Rachel. Not a single fucking thing. It is... That is, what did I say? Did I say 94%? My notes, it is about 7% Pod Study and the rest is Blackpink or other Blackpink or Taylor Swift. He does not lie, people. He does not lie. Evil, my wait what? It's not a wait what. It's a wait what? It's you know what it is for Evil? It's a Evil. You got some splaining to do. Van Halen does not appear on Evil's playlist until well below 3/4 of the way. And even then, more like 4/5. And even then, it's one song. Now, it's the song that he has always stated is his favorite Van Halen song, and Everybody Wants Some from Women and Children First. But I don't know. I guess he's not a fan anymore. You know, I've just realized what it is. Evil talked a lot about Wolfgang last year. Evil has moved on. Evil no longer gives a shit about Van Halen. He has moved on to Wolfgang. I'm proud of you, Evil. That's great. Okay. I don't know if he listens to the pod or not. If he does, now that he has had time to get really, really mad, I know the real reason. The real reason is, and let's air high five all of us because we did it. We are the ones that did it. Evil is officially a vinyl person. Evil is, he's his third year in. That's when you're in fucking deep, my friends. That's the only thing you think about. And I guarantee you that he listens to all of his Van Halen on vinyl. You don't listen to your favorite bands on fucking Spotify. I don't put fucking Alice in Chains on Spotify. Okay? It doesn't I don't put fucking, I don't put fucking. That's honestly what's going on. I'm quite sure about it. The Come On Man Award. Is there anything high up they should be ashamed of? The Come On Man Award. Is there anything that they should be ashamed of? Again, none of us are ashamed of anything, and we don't want people to be ashamed. That said, Rachel should be ashamed of her entire playlist. So there you go. It's not. We're gonna branch her out. I think someday it's gonna happen. Someday it might happen, but it's too hard to say with Rachel. Rachel's our pop. Rachel has the opposite taste of what Evil and I have. So we are not good judges of what she should or should not be ashamed of. This is why the content's better if they are part of it. But hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them neigh. For Evil, okay, so I made a little joke. One of Evil's top songs of last year was Gutsy by Airborne. And I made a little itty bitty joke that they were Timu AC/DC. But I remained nice. It's a fun song. It, I didn't want to do it at the thing because it's finale. You don't want to fuck up the feels, right? I don't like Airborne. I think Airborne is a Timu version of AC/DC. I think Evil needs to be a little more embarrassed of his love for Airborne. I'll say that. Hey, we all have our own. Like, Evil's made fun of many things I like. I'll make fun of many things he likes, and we'll both make fun of everything that Rachel likes. This is why they hate the podcast. The song that would never be on the other people's list if it was not for the pod. Rachel's is easy. Rachel's like number 2 artist of the year is 9 Inch Nails. Rachel doesn't even like 9 Inch Nails. Hey, it's a testament to her dedication to the pod. She doesn't like 9 Inch Nails, and she listened to it more than she listened to Blackpink last year. Now, I think it was probably in the span of about 5 days. Hey, it's still up there. I know. I'm thankful for that. I think that it's a joke, but it's not. It does say a lot about her dedication to the podcast. She's listening to shit she doesn't like. I don't know why. I don't know why she's still on this podcast. God bless her for being here. Evil, there is a good amount of Supertramp on his list. And I do, you know how I was saying in the finale, I was being nice. And now that you and I are alone without Evil here, I can say Airborne fucking sucks. I think he would do the exact same thing with Supertramp. I think that in the album dissection, he was being very nice. I think what he actually wanted to say was, once I got out of the room, I think he'd be like, this fucking sucks. I know that he's not a Supertramp guy, and I get it. But that's kind of the fun parts of these things, right? The Nod and Approval Award. The song that I don't really know that's rad on their mix. So it's not the Nod and Approval Award. It's the Nod and Approval Award. Rachel had a Sarah Bareilles number. She has a Sarah Bareilles song at number 2. She Used to Be Mine. That's a fantastic song. That's really good. I've never really gotten into Sarah Bareilles. I hear her name all the time and not just from pop lovers, but from music, you know, Svens, the Svens that like everything. Sarah Bareilles is a name that you get from them. The Diana Krall types. I'm not saying that their music is alike, but more that kind of a what's not to like from a talent and personal perspective. I hear her name all the time, and yeah, I put on the song She Used to Be Mine. It's great. It's fantastic. It's 100 times better than the other stuff that was on there, and it's really, really easy on the ears. It's great. It's like a not douchey Adele. It's hard to explain, but that was really good, and that was like number 2 on Rachel's playlist. So good job, Rachel, and thank you for introducing me to that. That's a rad song. I might go listen. I might put that on right now. I'm not going to, because Viagra Boys is on my. I'm not changing fucking Viagra Boys for Sarah Bareilles. I would get all of my cards pulled. I'd get my man card, my punk card, my podcast card, my music card. They'd all get pulled. Evil. There is, and I don't know how to pronounce it. There is a song on his playlist called Honey, Are You Coming by Måneskin. That song fucking bangs. It's this kind of like cheesy rock, like 90s cheese, maybe 2000s cheese rock, but it's fucking rad. That is a drive down the road fucking blasting sort of song. I will say one of the things that I do to get ready for this episode is I try to put on their playlist for a full day. I do Rachel's for a full day and then Evil's for a full day. Full transparency, I didn't make it through either. And it's not that their music sucks and my music is good. It's nothing like that. Our tastes are just so different. This is something that we've talked about and very much appreciate is our tastes we have similar tastes, but very different tastes as well. And it makes this good triangle of it works for the pod. This one, Honey, Are You Coming? Go check that song. That song's fucking rad. I loved it. So thank you, Evil, for showing me that. That also is going to be on all my playlists now. Huzzah. The DL Award, the song on their mixes that are that are the most me. What song on their list is like, that's DL right there. So Rachel's it's kind of a cheat thing because it's podcast studying, but she had like 7, maybe 6 Nine Inch Nails songs on there. So I'll go with Every Day is exactly the same. I think when we did our Nine Inch Nails dissection, that was like my 1 or 3rd favorite Nine Inch Nails song out of their whole discography, and it was on her playlist. So that is definitely that. With Evil, so now I remember what album I gave him. He gave me Torch. I gave him Process of Belief by Bad Religion. There were like 4 Bad Religion songs on his mix, and I'm picking all of them. They are very DL. Damn it. The Rachel Award, the song on our mixes that are the most Rachel. So Evil, there was an Olivia Rodrigo song on his mix, which he had talked about when we did the pod. He had talked about when we did the pod. When we had done 2021, and then the 2 years after, her 2 albums. I can't talk now. He was into the Olivia Rodrigo. And he also, he was in a position to where he was listening to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo as well as the second album too. And he was pretty into it, but I thought it was like I'm into it kind of thing. I thought it was like it's on, it's fine. I'm not going to get mad and turn it off. I thought it was that kind of thing. It's on his playlist. And we didn't cover Olivia Rodrigo this year. There was no reason to listen to her this year. I mean, maybe when we were studying for year 1, but that wouldn't really need studying unless maybe he wanted to remember if she's good or not. I don't know. I think he just had an Olivia Rodrigo song on his playlist and was listening to it. For me, on mine, for Rachel, I honestly, I'm not trying to be snarky or anything. There is nothing. There's nothing on here that maybe that Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Goodbye Angel. I don't know if that's at all her type of thing. She goes hard in the paint on the 70s and 60s rock. I do have a couple old Neil Young songs on here. So maybe I'll go Old Man by Neil Young. How about that? Does that work? I'll go Old Man by Neil Young. That's the thing is for every Taylor Swift and Blackpink, Rachel also loves that classic rock, the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard new style that will change next year. I bet you know what I mean. The Evil Award, the song on our mixes that is the most evil. Well, I already I have Sabaton on half my fucking. That's his thing. He wants music that you can ride into battle. That's him. That's his thing. Sabaton should be his top 4. And I bet Evil will say, that's not, he's more into the death metal, but he wants his singers growling. He wants to pretend like he's tougher than he is because he trains in jiu-jitsu. I don't know. My whole half my fucking thing. Half my playlist is fucking Torch and Sabaton. That's evil. My playlist is half evil. Rachel, we talked about when we did one of our, not What Did We Miss, but the new album, holy fuck, the quarter reviews, the new album reviews. We call those episodes something. I can't think of what they are right now. I'm getting old and my I don't have very many brain cells left, I don't think. Anyway, we covered the Hives and the Hives album that came out this year, the Hives Forever, Forever, the Hives. Evil I have known, and he confirmed this year that out of all those post-punk New York City 2000s bands, Hives was like by far his favorite. Rachel loved that Hives album, loved it. And so yeah, her Hives love is new and it's very real. And it's kind of the exact, they are on the same Hives path now. So good for them. And that's it. That's what it is. The last award that I'm going to do is the Leonardo DiCaprio Point in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Award. To this thing. The song ranking that most impresses me in their mixes. Evil has... Oh, no. I'm doing Evil last. Rachel... Okay. Rachel has is it To Love by To Love Has to Love? I think it's To Love by Suki Waterhouse. I'm actually super impressed with Suki Waterhouse. I discovered her a year, maybe two ago, and forgot that I had. She was a really big deal, I think 2 years ago, right? Her album was big. I think we might have just teeny bit talked about her on the pod. But she has this new kind of neo-soul folk thing that is, she's good. And it impressed me to see her on Rachel's playlist. It's really good. And I like her, and I had forgotten about her, and Rachel reminded me. Evils makes me very happy. So I think most of you, if you're a regular listener, you know that I am a little bit obsessed with the current artist Eka Vandal. It's really, really hard for me to be obsessed with her because I am an album guy. I am a vinyl guy. I need an album. I need a track one to track end. I need a physical media. She is a singles touring artist. She's the exact opposite of that. She's been touring with Limp Bizkit for a couple years now. In fact, her bass player is now playing bass for Limp Bizkit. Rest in peace, their old bass player. Sorry, I don't remember his name. I am legitimately sorry for that. But Cruising to Self-Soothe by Eka Vandal is on Evil's playlist. And he is very into her now as well. So I did it. Air 5. He is a fan, and I love that he is a fan. Evil loves the Limp Bizkit revival, and I do too. And I don't like Limp Bizkit, and it's not because it's not cool. It's because their music isn't good. But I fucking love Wes Borland. God damn, I love Wes Borland. I love weird costume, heavy guitar, wear the contact lenses. I love all that stuff. I'm a fucking David Bowie fan. I love the costumes and the this and the that. Plus, he's a good guitarist. Damn it. Anyway, Eka Vandal is on his list, and I love it. That is the third annual Evil's Evil Spotify Awards. It's not because Evil's evil. It's a play on words. It's because Evil's evil, and because it's Evil's evil Spotify. So Spotify is evil. Also, Evil is evil. It's the Evil's Evil Spotify Awards. And now you know. If you don't know, now you know. That's it. That's all I got for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. I love and I miss all of you. I'm so ready for next year to start. So ready, in fact, that I need to pull up what we're doing in our next episode so I can tell you. Last week we did the reaction. If you didn't watch it on YouTube, go check it out. It's fun. Or the regular episode. I don't know. In fact, I don't even know how I'm going to do that, but hey, I'm going to do it. Tomorrow, fucking hell, David. Next Monday is a good old-fashioned happy hour with DL. I'm going to keep going with the Rolling Stone 500 greatest songs of all time and the 500 greatest albums of all time. I love doing those episodes, and I was kind of in fear that people were going to be like, this is kind of lame. This is basically you just stealing content from Rolling Stone. My feedback on it has been only positive. So if you do hate these, let me know and I'll cool it with them. But I really like doing them. I've explained it a lot on the pod. It's getting back into albums and listening to new albums, to albums I hadn't that are really good, and shitting on John Mayer, which will happen next week. Join us next week when I talk about how I like the Stooges and John Mayer's album sucks. That's all I got for you, everybody. I hope you have Christmas in 5 days. I hope you have a really, really great holiday. If you don't, shoot me a message and we can chat. Hey, I love wallowing in self-pity with people. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Love you all an incredible amount. Take it easy. I miss Evil and Rach. Excited to record with Evil again. We love you. Good night and good luck. If you need to get pumped, go listen to some Sabaton, okay? Just go crank The Last Stand and tell me that doesn't get your fucking blood going. All right, for real. I love you. Good night.